neck of the woods with a video for you. So, you guys probably heard me talk about that I work as background work on TV as an extra for television and movies, and I haven't done that type of work in the past 3 or 4 months due to some problems which I'm basically taken care of. So now I started back working as an extra um, early last week. So now I'm doing a little bit better for myself financially. So yesterday I was on the set. I worked for on the show Code Black, which is a hospital television show, one of many. And I was working as a firefighter. That was my role. So if you see like some black men walking around in a yellow orange firefighter suit, you might be seeing me. That is if there's not like another black guy working on that. But anyhow, so I met this black dude. He was one of the people I met on set. We was talking about a lot of controversial topics. Now, I rather not talk about controversial things while I'm at work, any job that I do, because I know my views is very unique and very controversial. I'd rather not talk about the same stuff that I talk about here to you all on YouTube. But I was basically drawn into this conversation. Well, actually, me and him had a conversation and just led from one thing to another. We was talking about politics, Donald Trump this, Hillary Clinton that. We basically agreed on most things with that. A couple little indifferences of opinion, but mostly agreement. And then he mentioned his family was deeply involved with the Black Panthers and the Black Liberation Army, and how his family knew Tupac Shakur. And I'm going to talk about that more later in the video. That's basically part of what this video is about. And then that led to me talking about the Nation of Islam and everything. And that's the other part of this video, the main part, really. And then after that, we talked about religion, and that's where we basically had our main disagreements because he's a Christian and I'm not. And I told him where I stood. He disagreed, but you know what? It didn't get heated. We was cool. We was respectful. Other people started getting into the conversation when you talking about Christianity, and I held my own. I held my own. Neck of the Woods did his thing on set, but that's not what this video is about. But so what really you know, we was just talking, we was chopping it up, and and I felt like I was learning a little bit, from, because he brought a few things to my attention, not on the religion part, but the political aspect, and also he said that his father, I forget the name, his father, he just told me yesterday. I could look it up, but his father was, most of his family was a part of the Black Panthers, and his father was one of the men with, I think, Mutulu Shakur. Mutulu Shakur is not his father, but his father was right there with Mutulu Shakur, who held up the prison and busted out Asada Shakur from prison and helped her escape. His father was there. That's what he told me. This is what he claimed. And, he seemed to be sincere about it. I think I believe him. Like he didn't come off with like the vibe of he's he's lying to kick it sort of thing. So I believe him, and he said, yeah, his family. Now he said he never knew Tupac personally, but most of his family knew Tupac, and his family also knew Tupac's mother. And he said he knew Tupac's mother up until she passed away. That she called the house to spoke with his auntie and grandmother every day. So I thought that was interesting. I shook his hand for telling me that because that's like 2 or 3 degrees of separation between me and Tupac. I thought that was interesting, and I believed him. But yeah, he said his father, his uncle, they was really deep in that, in the Black Panthers and the Black Liberation Army, and they believed in you know they wanted to like fight for black people's rights and better treatment in the society, however they could possible. He said that let's see. Oh, and another thing on that, also he's first cousin to uh, Fatal Hussein of Outlaws, and you guys all know who the Outlaws are. Tupac formed the Outlaw rap group, and Fatal Hussein was one of the main rappers from the Outlaws, and he said Fatal Hussein it was his first cousin. So I thought that was interesting. So then from that we was talking about the Nation of Islam, because I was talking about Malcolm X and whatnot. Somehow Malcolm X was brought up, I think, by me, and well, we was also talking about Martin Luther King and everything, but then this is what he brought to my attention, and it's something that I never thought about. Excuse me. It was something I've never ever considered or thought about. I've never looked at it this way. And he said that he didn't approve of the Nation of Islam. He thought that they were like, he said, because this guy, he's dark skinned. Okay, he was a dark skinned brother. And he said that according to him, from what he noticed, and he brought it to my attention, and I mean, I don't know. He said that he feels that the Nation of Islam, they put nothing but light skinned brothers in high position. And that's all they've done throughout their entire history. And he said, yeah, I mean, just look at the people who are at the higher position and the spokesperson for the Nation of Islam. He said, starting with Elijah Muhammad, light skinned brother, Malcolm X, light skinned brother, Louis Farrakhan, light skinned brother. And then he said, and then he's noticed that there's a lot of, because Louis Farrakhan is old now, and I think he's gonna step down pretty soon, and there's a lot of other semi-spokespeople within the Nation of Islam, and he said they're light-skinned too. So he referred to the Nation of Islam as a light-skinned mafia. So there's what he said. I don't particularly look at it this way. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe if I was dark skinned, I'd probably look at it the same way. Um, I'm not dark skinned. I'm not light skinned either. I'm brown skinned. So I'm kind of in the middle of that whole deal. But yeah, I'm a brown skinned brother. But yeah, but I've never looked at it that way. But I guess, I mean, if you really, I've never looked at it that way. He said, yeah, they discriminate against light skinned black people, black men. That is always light skinned. No, they discriminate against dark skinned black men, and that they always put the light skinned brothers in the higher positions. That's what he said. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, I told him I'm not going to just completely disagree. I have to really look at it and see that from my point of view also. I just never thought about that. This is pretty new to me. So, yeah, just tell me your thoughts on that. I mean, what do you think? I mean, this particular thing, like usually in my videos, I make a hard opinion on topics that I speak about. But this is just new right here. Like, have any of you all heard this before? I never heard this one before because I mean, we have our little colorism issue here in the black community and everything, but I've always thought of the Nation of Islam as a legitimate black organization. Now I'm not a Muslim, but I respect what they do for a community. Even now, my take on the whole thing is, I mean, and I'll probably do a future video and later on, sometime soon. I do believe Louis Farrakhan either played a part, had something to do, or definitely was aware of the situation of Malcolm X getting assassinated. I believe. Now, here's my hard opinion, but um, yeah, he wanted Malcolm X's position. He was, I don't know if he was jealous or envious. Maybe he thought he could just speak on issues, maybe the same way Malcolm X could. Maybe he thought he could do a better job. He wanted that position, and Malcolm X died, and look at who took it over. But since he's taken it over, I mean, he's done a good job. But I do believe he played a part in Malcolm X's death. But as far as Nation of Islam being like a discriminates against dark skinned black, I don't know. And also, I told this guy, I another sec 2 or 3 degrees of separation. I used to work with this black girl one time, a few years ago. Um, Her last name was Farrakhan, and she was not light skinned. She was brown or dark brown skin, not completely dark chocolate or anything, but she was far from light skinned. She was darker than me. Beautiful sister. And she said Louis Farrakhan was her like second cousin or something. And her take on the whole deal was like she wasn't really trying to brag about it. According to her, she said like her, because she used to be a Muslim. She said, well, Nation of Islam rather, and her mom had to escape and run away from the Nation of Islam because they was gonna kill them. And she told me the story of what happened, but basically there was a major disagreement with the mother, and the mother's, I think dad, her dad died a natural death, or I don't know, I forget, but there was some sort of disagreement there, and the family had to like, well, they were excommunicated from the Nation of Islam, and of course, not only are you in that situation, but there's like a green light on your life at the same time. So, but she said, yeah, Louis Farrakhan's her cousin, but she could care less about him. So I don't know. And then this brother I was telling that to, he said, yeah, and she was like, not light skinned. Yeah, see, there you go. But that was his opinion. I didn't think of it that way. I just look at the Nation of Islam, even though they're an organization, that they do have like a mafia element to them. But yeah, just tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment. I don't really know what to say on this. Have you ever heard this before? Uh, Tell me what you think. That is all I'm going to say on this matter. Have a good one, folks.